Hi everyone. I am working out of my greenhouse today. As you can see, I moved my wheel inside for the winter. So this little greenhouse has my kiln and my wheel, and it's attached to my house. It's not very big, but does the job, right? So do what we got to do. So I'm gonna try to throw a pumpkin. So these can be kind of tricky. So hopefully it turns out. I've done about six of them, I guess, or seven. They turn out really cute. So I'm going to lower the camera. Hopefully, you'll get a good enough view of what I'm doing, and let's get started because they turn out so cute. Wait till you see them. There we go. You can see them. Alrighty. So I'm going to wire off a chunk of clay here. This is Standards 266. It's a dark brown clay, and it makes for really neat looking pumpkins because you can leave the stem raw. You don't glaze the stem, and it's just kind of a neat rustic. You can paint them with white underglaze, wipe it back, and then put a clear on it, or just leave it raw. I mean, really, it looks beautiful. Oh, sorry. Geez, sorry about break your eardrums. I'm not really good about wedging my clay first because I cone it up and down, so that's wedging it enough. Let's get started. So anyway, what I was saying is you can paint with a white underglaze, and then, like I said, wipe it back and leave it raw. Fire it that way, or you can put a clear over it. Put like a zinc-free clear over it, and they turn out really nice. I did one, and you can see it in my kiln opening. I did a kiln opening, I guess about a month ago. And the kiln opening shows one I did with it wiped back. And when I went to I did a show, I guess it was last week, and that was the first one I sold. I wish I had done more, but I really try to comb these up and down a few times since I really don't wedge it much. So bear with me here. This isn't the interesting part. The clay is pretty stiff, which should help. The hardest part for me about doing this is I have big hands. So you know, the trick is to keep it collared in while you're bringing it up, so you don't have to collar it in so far when you're trying to close it off at the end. But then you still got to be able to get your hand in there to volumize it by pressing your hand, you know, into the inside and push it out. And then every time I do that, it opens up that top part pretty far because my hands are so big. Okay, so I should be pretty good here. So when I center, I always push in like that, and then I push down and I hold. This clay is pretty stiff, so it doesn't want to get a different sponge here. Really gotta make sure it's on center. This one I can feel it's off just a little bit. It's really important to have your clay centered. Some people really struggle with that. I usually don't have too much of a problem with that. It seems it's pretty, but when it's stiff, that's when I have more trouble, which is pretty normal. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and open this thing. I'm going to slow wheel down a little bit. Slow it down to about medium speed. There we go. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to put 2 thumbs down the center. As soon as it gets a little dry, I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. This thing is a little off. Jeez, how did I do that? I'll try and get it back on center. It's not really cooperating well today because I'm doing a video. All right, now I'm going to pull the wall out. It's getting more and more off center, yikes. Okay, I think I got it back on center. So I'm going to start pulling this wall up here a little bit. And you want to pull towards your nose because you don't want to bowl. And you want to keep that opening fairly small. There we go. So you just want to keep pulling it up. I sometimes pull up walls a couple different ways. If the clay is really stiff, I like to use a sponge. With my hands on the inside and with these 2 fingers on the outside and these 2 fingers on the inside, right across from each other. And then my finger touching, my thumb touching over here for stability. My arms tucked against my side, my elbows tucked against my side. Then I can really control that clay instead of the clay controlling me. I mean, if your hands are going all over, then you've not stabilized your hands enough. Another way I learned this from Hin Shun. I know I botched his name. Hin Shun Lin, I think his name is. He's you'll see him on YouTube all over the place. He's an awesome potter. But I learned from him this way, where my thumb is down like this. And at first it looks really weird, but I really like that way too, because I can really feel the clay with my thumb as I'm pulling it up. think that's, I must have left a lot in the, more in the bottom than I thought. I thought it would get a little bit higher than that. But you don't want your walls to be too thin because you're going to be bowing them out like you would a vase. Like, see it? I'm going to compress the floor. Gosh. I'm going to collar this back in again. And try to pull that wall up. Get some of that weight out of the bottom. I really don't want all that weight, clay weight down there. Okay, I think that's good. Color that in a little more. Okay, now I've got my hand inside, and with a sponge on the outside, I'm going to add some volume to the inside. I need to add a little bit of water to the inside wall. I usually don't have this much problems with these things. Oh. But since the pumpkin, it'll be okay, but gosh. Oh goodness. Like I said, if this was a vase, I would trash it. But since it's going to be a pumpkin, it won't matter. Maybe I'll do another video that's not quite as show the difficulty. As you can see, it's off round. It's not cooperating. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, let's collar this back in. If it's not out too far now. And I'm just putting my middle finger here. Come on, baby. You want to pull this up a little bit. This is not going well. Can you tell? Ay. Okay, maybe it should be a video what not to do when you're making a pumpkin. But okay, let's just pretend this turned out good. And I'll do another one too. But okay, so because I kind of didn't do a very good job on this one, we're basically going to close this up, make the stem, okay? I should have made one first and then done the video on the second one, because you know it always takes you at least one to get your rhythm going. Okay, so now I've got this part done. And hopefully you can see okay. So what I'm going to do now is take my middle fingers. And no, I'm not cussing at it, although I feel like cussing at it. And we're going to, directly across from each other, we're going to bring that straight up. And then over a little bit, we're going to bring that straight up. And then, so I did it 3 times. I'm going to keep doing this a little bit, because I want those, I like kind of big indentations for the pumpkin. You don't have to if you don't like as big, but there you go. You can kind of see the pumpkin taking shape, and I'll show you a close-up when I'm done. I'm just kind of pushing directly across from each other, equal pressure. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So if it starts to collapse a little bit, you don't have to worry about that too much. You can always just poke a hole in there, lift it back up, and add some clay. Add some clay to it. I feel like one of my students. Yikes. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to kind of smooth down these indentations with a sponge, because I like the texture, or I like the sponge lines to go up and down, and just smooth those down like that. Then just this brown clay gets so dirty. It is like, they must have glue in it, it makes a mess. All right, now I am going to, let's see, I use the end of this tool here and just make a little swirl pattern around here that kind of shows where the stem stops and where the pumpkin starts. I like to do that on mine. Usually I use a pencil. I have a pencil, but I don't know if I have a pencil in here. Oh, here we go. The end of a paintbrush. That's a little better. Let's use the end of a paintbrush. I don't have a torch, or I'd torch it to stop it to dry it out a little bit. And I'm just going to put some marks in here. Kind of lean that, twist that to the side. And then I went ahead and made some leaves. These are these leaves I cut out. I just used cookie cutters. I don't know if you can see, but I put a texture on them. I just rolled. I have a bunch of rolling pins with, you know, all sorts of texture. So I just put some texture on there. I just wet the back a little bit. And since this clay is so wet, I won't have to squirt it or anything. Whoops. Whoops. Dropped it. All right. And now I got some clay, make some little tendrils. Just roll them in your hand. And these don't have to be perfect either. You don't want them, you really don't want them perfectly round because then they're not going to look natural. So then I take that and I just take it and I coil it around. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. So see that? Then I'll coil that down the side and just kind of gently touch it to the side. And here's the other one. This one's a little bit skinnier. So I'm going to take that like that and just start making coils. Like that. And then we'll put this one down this side. There we go. I'm going to wire it off. I wired off a couple times. I wouldn't do that to a bowl, but since it's just a pumpkin. Usually, there you go. Usually they're a little bit better than that. But there you go. There's a pumpkin made on the wheel. I'll make another video too that's how the top looks. And it'd be cute on here's a ladybug, wouldn't it? There you go. Thanks for watching. I'll do another one too that maybe I can zoom in a little more on the next one. But I will glaze these. Not sure what color I'll glaze these yet, but and I will. But I'll do a kiln opening and let you see it. Here we go. Thanks for watching.